Welcome back, survivors. I'm the SurvivalVis, and we return to the Hunter Call of the Wild, where we've really possibly misbranded ourselves. I called myself the SurvivalVis, but it seems more like the HunterVis is more appropriate given the way the channel's gone right now. And we've got Carnivores Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We've got Prehistoric Hunt we're showing off a little bit of. I may have some Monster Hunter discussion videos just to chat about. We also have Monster Hunter on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Maybe I did a little mistake in branding myself. However, I don't think we're going to change now. Although, maybe we'll see what feedback comes in. Maybe we will. We aren't exactly super far along with things. But we are in Parque Fernando once again, just to explore, hunt, and see what there is in store. After everything we've kind of been going through with Prehistoric Hunt, I figure let's look at the very highest end of the hunting game spectrum now. And, I mean, there are some things that Prehistoric Hunt is starting to step into that the Hunter Call of the Wild has. There is the bit of tracking potential. Granted, it needs to be a bit more fleshed out in order to be more, I'd say, useful. Because it still falls pretty short from what Call of the Wild can give you. One thing is, you can see the tracks from further away. You get a kind of cone of travel, so you have some idea more of the direction. And you get them highlighted as well, so you know you're tracking these specific tracks of this animal. Things like that, which I don't know, I think are something that could come a little later for Prehistoric Hunt, but again, it depends on what we actually see it shape up to be. It's a little torn right now and pretty early to assess whether it's going to be one of those, just a bunch of assets were flipped and used for just a cash grab, or there's going to be time and effort put in to develop and properly flesh systems and things out. I'm leaning a little bit more to that latter option, because they didn't have to do things like the organ charts or some of the systems that already got a little touch up like the contracts. So we'll see what that has in store. In the meantime, instead of making both Carnivores Plus and this video a talk about that. Oh, an axis. Okay, this is an animal I really want to see and try getting. Because the axis deer... Well, that's an interesting call. But these guys have a very unique antler configuration if you get very high, ranking scoring ones. And they also have a fairly nice, coat to them as well. Almost think of, how whitetails are born that have the white spots kind of dotting them. That's kind of what the axis deer have as their coat. At least I believe they do. Hopefully we will be able to spot this guy. Be able to show that for all of you. Although, I don't want to be too quick here.
Not all tracks lead to animals, so I always apply the sniff test. If the droppings are fresh, your game is close by. But if you find all the droppings, that animal is long gone, and you should look for the more recent trail.
Okay, but I have something I potentially might be able to go after. I was really hoping we could have called him in, because I don't know exactly where he... It is a bit more dangerous. Well, I shouldn't... I was going to say dangerous, but then again, this isn't dangerous like Carnivores is. This is more dangerous as I'll scare the animal off. I figure maybe we'll try to bring out a warning call from it. And if we can manage that... That will give us a much better read on distance. Well, maybe not distance, but direction much more. One of the major differences between the Hunter Classic and Call of the Wild was how they handled the calls. Because both of them use a little tablet, or I guess in this case a smartphone. called the Hunter Mate to help you with a few extra things that you don't exactly get in real life, or your natural senses would give you in real life. One of them is if an animal would call, here you see kind of like the audio waves of it going around to a direction it is. In the classic version of the Hunter, it would actually have like a little ping area on your map to say that's where it came from. So it was much more direct in focusing where the animal exactly was when it called. I wonder if I should go... Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, so...
Do you say axis deer or Chital? I say axis deer, so from now on, you do too. These beauties were introduced to Patagonia about a century ago. Like everything else, they thrive here, turning out world-class bucks. They like to wander in single file, so don't be surprised if tracking one leads you to an entire queue.
Yeah, so they... Actually, I kind of like Chital. I guess either one works. I just want to see, because with this track line over this way as well, where... Okay, so maybe what happened is it came up and then looped back? It's kind of strange looking at the way these two are aligned like this. But it does seem that that might be the way it decided. Yeah, so it did do a weird, almost like a U here. Well, we'll follow this and see if we can get a nice axis deer to begin with. Because, like, even that I don't think really does that much justice to the way the axis deer antlers can be. Now, I may be completely mistaken, I apologize if I am, but... Okay, yeah, that's old, so we probably got a ways to catch up before we may even start to get a glimpse of him. Although, I think the mule deer was kind of like that as well, and as long as they're calm, they might not go too quickly away. Actually, looks like maybe he just followed right along this sort of... maybe old riverbed. Like, that's the feel I get looking at this. The way it's kind of dipped down, a little more eroded than the rest. It hasn't really grown in with anything. Maybe during something like... I'm pretty sure South America more has the rainy season. Maybe the rainy season this is exactly that, and it just kind of like runs down, and this turns into like a river. But we'll just continue along with these tracks here. I do see those there. I don't know if we'll be having to go up that way or not. All we can really do is just keep on these and see potentially if they meet up with those. Yeah, still old, and... Okay, so the axis deer might actually be a weapon class 3. Yeah, it's now in a trot, okay. So something made you go a bit faster, and then back to a walk. Just going to take a look at the map and see. It may be heading down here to get some water. Yeah, it seems to be a continuous straight directions. Oh, okay, now it's fresh, so that means we're closing in on them. So I want to be more careful as I'm moving along. And actually, what I'm going to do is make sure we have... Yeah, I need 3 to 7 in that one, and 1 to 3 in the bow. I don't know if we'll use the bow for him, but we'll see how lucky we get. It does seem like, thankfully... Wait, what? Okay, that's a bit odd. And odder still is that it seems like it's... Oh, no, here's more tracks. I was going to say, that was a bit of a jump from... Oh, that sounded adorable! Like, I mean, I know we're hunting it, but that sounded so cute! Gee, I don't know if we'll be able to actually hunt him. We gotta see what he looks like. But definitely sounds like he's not as far as I thought he was going to be. I don't believe we scared him into running. I think he's just going to be alert and on edge. So what I'm going to do, got to be very careful not to hit the jump up or spring up or sprint. Well, I guess I might be able to do the sprint. Because we are low to the ground now, so it will make a bit of noise. Granted, probably not much more than we are already making crawling through the dry brush here. I want to take a look at our first axis deer and see how he is. Was not expecting that cute of a noise to come from him, I got to admit. Usually a lot of the times you hear these really low groans and wails almost from the other deer. This I was very surprised at. And the wind's not going to do us much favors here. Well, it depends, because it looks like he's gone this way still. Okay, I'm not seeing any movement, so I think we still got a ways before we may see him. It also seems like the axis is a much smaller deer. Think of something more like the... I guess if anybody's a European watcher, they might be more familiar with the Roe Deer. So I'm guessing it's a little bit closer to that for, like, body sizing. And one thing, though, that... It kind of shows, like, if you're not familiar with, like, international wildlife, how surprised and caught off guard you can be by certain things. Because, like, the first time that I heard of the Roe Deer, I was surprised there's actually a deer that small. Like, compared to what we have in North America with, like, the whitetail, the blacktail, the mules... I didn't know that you could have, like, a little tiny miniature deer somewhere else in the world, and that's basically what I'd say the Roe Deer is. The axis almost may be a mix of the two, because it does seem like it's going to be a more tinier, smaller-framed animal. But the horns, or, well, I shouldn't say horns, they are antlers. The antlers may be something more akin to more ornate and branching that North America bucks and deer we're used to seeing. Yeah, so... Okay, this wasn't a feed zone, so I'm surprised that it's not still around here. Kept going off, and it wasn't that it was, like, spooked, because I think these are all still just walking. Oh, no, that was a run. We'll see what the next one is. If that's a run as well, then it's probably gone a ways off. So then I can get upright and start walking and hunting after it. Oh gee, I'm getting hungry. I'm recording this just before lunch, so it's... No, this is just a trot. So I thought maybe we might have spooked it. If we did, that might also lend into that we're dealing with potentially a higher scoring animal. I just want to be slow and careful about this, because like one of the things about this is I don't know exactly how far we are. I really want to try to get us leveled up to unlock that next skill where we can actually get replies when we call out. That will really, really help in determining distance to an animal. Well, actually, so much about it. And I don't want to stand up because both is going to make us a little more visible, and it's also going to make more noise as we're stepping and walking. I'm actually going to... Yeah, I probably should have done this earlier. We're going to do that for now. Yeah, this is still fresh, and we're into an area where we may actually be able to finally get a glimpse at them. Just need to figure out that direction of travel, because it did look like it was potentially going back up this riverbed. Yeah, the tracks are getting a little more confusing around here, so it does seem like he did go back up. Went down. Maybe okay, this is getting I'm actually going to stand up and go and investigate, because, like, this is a bit more bizarre to figure out. Trot up. But was going down. But trot back up this way. But then over that way as well. And this was coming back. But there are no tracks that are leading to this one out here? Okay, bit bizarre. Man, this one is definitely giving me the ring around. At least it does seem like they did a few circles and things around in here. And then started going up this way again. Now, I don't know if I want to follow exactly in its tracks or if I want to try to parallel them. Then that way I'm not quite directly in the same terrain as it. Just so that way, like, I have a bit of a better view if I stay on this side of the riverbed than if I'm on that. Because then I have the hill I can't look up and over. Whereas here... Oh! Oh, there you are. Okay, you're alarmed. Yeah, see, very nice coat on it. Oh, can't even see if we got him or not. Oh, yeah, we did. Let's go take a look at our first axis deer. Like, the coat is very, very nice on him. And this was actually a nice configuration of the antlers. I think they can get a little more ornate than this. I think this might be a silver. There we go. Yeah, just a nice one shot from the muzzle loader. Oh, you are a great looking one. God, you're basically... Well, oh, actually, you can see the true rack system very well in place here, because you can see that there's actually not this one branch coming off the other side. That's one thing... Oh, and actually quite a difference in those as well. That's one thing that the Hunter series has done very well, is that the animals and their antler configurations are very much heavily inspired and developed and actually algorithmized to real life.
Axis deer, perfect. It may sound easy to grill venison backstrap and serve it with chimichurri sauce, but our chef makes no ordinary chimichurri. Pair that with a 2014 Mendoza Malbec and your mouth will go to heaven.
I didn't even realize...
Don't get too hungry yet, because this meat is for our guests. There's a shed at the location marked on your hunter made. Bring the game there and lock it up to keep the predators out.
Like, the antler configuration isn't all that exactly good. Like, looking at it, it's not your best trophy, but the big draw is the fur type. I didn't realize this was actually a piebald. Like, that is incredible to know. So we're going to taxidermize you, and you will definitely be getting a room in the trophy lodge that I actually have picked up. That's another part of the DLC sale that I decided to get for ourselves. Oh, and we might have another axis deer we can try to follow that up with. but I had no idea that was a piebald. There are, I think, 4 main fur coat types. There is normal, piebald, melanistic, and albino. Now, the albino is one that probably most people are familiar with. That is where the animal's coat is completely white. The eyes typically more have like a red or pinkish coloring. I don't know if all animals really have that, but that's something you generally see more on like albino mice is a prime example where you really notice that. Melanistic are the animal has, I think it's like a deficiency or an excess of melanin. But it's basically where the coat is very dark coloring, almost like jet black and very dark colors and hues. I don't know if we've actually managed to get one or not that's been a melanistic animal yet. And then you have something where the piebald, and that one's a little harder for me to describe because I'm not entirely certain of the characteristics of it. But I believe it is where the animal is more like spotted and polka dot-ish almost with the coat for it. We'll definitely try to get another axis deer as a comparison. I'm hoping this is actually the fresher trail because I see this one definitely seemed to have followed the same trail as the previous one had. So we'll definitely see if we can catch up to it. What are we looking for drop-ins here? Very old. Okay, so we might... Actually, I might have to check, because is this... This might actually be the same trail as the one we were just following. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit of a bug. Normally, or at least I thought what normally happens is when you do hunt the animal, all of the tracks that it had left are wiped from your hunter mate, so you can't, like, mistake yourself with an animal you just hunted. Does not seem to be the case here. And admittedly, I don't think I'll go on for too much longer this time around, because, again, I'm getting very hungry. I've already gotten 3 episodes recorded today, with another couple I still want to do. But I'm getting pretty close to noon, and I have not had anything for breakfast. So definitely want to correct that soon. In the meantime, I guess... I mean, we basically have the full circle here. These will lead up to that one there, and then that was the, I guess, kind of the patrol route it likes to take. I don't know if the animals are really on too much of a fixed set of rails for how they go from need zone to need zone. They may be. But, I mean, right now, I have to admit, very, very nice to get that piebald. First of all, axis deer, nice to get in general. Piebald is just extra on top. Yeah, so that literally brings us back to where we just found it and were going along. And there's a lot of area to cover, so I don't know if we'll be going all the way up there. More than likely not this episode, at least. I may even just hop into the ATV, come another episode, and go for a drive to unlock another outpost. But I do have to admit, I really love using the muzzleloader here. Well, just in general, I love using it. It's, again, that if you miss with that first shot, the animal has complete fair game to bolt off on you. It's not, I don't feel as overpowered using a regular rifle where you can have multiple rounds that you just can take a few shots on the animal before it's completely gone. And it does take a long reload. I do want to get a little bit better with the bow, but again, some of the arrows seem a little strange. I don't know if it's deliberately meant as that, or there just might have been a mix-up on when the game is trying to call for the model. It's choosing a different bow's arrow. Because I don't see how your small game and your super big game are both that complete flat, but then your medium game has that prong up. If anything, I thought the biggest game would have had that to it. Or would have had the third prong. I'm just kind of talking, try to kill some time while we hopefully find something before we look at ending. Oh, actually, that's something I will bring up Prehistoric Hunt again, because the game actually does have weather in it. I was surprised to find that out. I know it has a day-night cycle, it has a flashlight like Call of the Wild does, but it also includes rain in it, which caught me off guard. Again, it still has to fix a very critical issue it has, but again, I will completely let you guys know about it, and updates, and whether it'll be worth it or not. Right now, not really, but again, early access, so it may develop into something that is, so... let's just do something easy and go see what this is. It's not too far off. It's basically in a good direction for us. And who knows, maybe we'll have warning calls. We're going up to it. I may just switch... Yeah, you know what? We're going to switch back to... Oh, yeah, that's the one I want. Because that's a 4 to 8, and I really am surprised at the effective range. Like, you go from 100 up to 200 with that. This is a much more powerful shot for the muzzleloader. I think it is both more powerful shot and also because of the, like, just the design of the balls that are used. Like, this is actually like a ball you're shooting out, whereas this one is actually more, like a true bullet for its shape and penetration, stuff like that. We'll get over to whatever this is. Probably a hunting tower, because this looks like a good area for it. Yeah, just a hunting stand or hunting tower. So we'll get this put up, take a little look out and around from it. I doubt there's anything around us. We probably would have heard a warning call if there were. But, oh, look at that. Basically, I'm not sure if this would technically be a rainforest, but it does just have that South American rainforest kind of feel looking out all across that, doesn't it? Well, I think we will end this episode here before we go too far and too long into things. Call of the Wild is a little harder to get smaller episodes in just because of how long it can take to track and stalk game, but I think it is one of the most immersive hunting experiences out there. Thank you all very much for joining me on this episode of the series. If you do like the series, be sure to give it a like, and any comments, tips, tricks, or requests you'd like to see done, leave them right down below, and I will try to address them or answer any questions as soon as they come up. Until I see you all in the next episode, Hunters and Survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy hunting.